Hi, my name is Dr. Christina Rahm, and I'm the founder of Under the Red Chandelier. I've worked for the pharmaceutical and nutraceutical industries. I've worked for governments and corporations, but I still have this burning passion when it comes to music and art and fashion and design. And I realized I have a lot to share. I want to share the travel, the fashion, the art, the music I grew up with, as well as what I've experienced. As I traveled, I picked up different colors and different designs and different things that I brought back. In today's world, we have all this conflict. It doesn't matter what their religion is. It doesn't matter what their political view is. For all the creators out there, for all the scientists, from all the artists, for all of you guys, come join us on this series. We're here to connect. We're here to learn. Welcome to Under the Red Chandelier, Nicole Paloma.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to say her name earlier.
You did it perfect.
Yeah, I did. Thank you. And I absolutely adore Nicole. I actually requested this podcast. We have people that request to do our podcast, but I wanted to do it with you because I love your clothes. I mean, love your clothes. I have a collection of them in my closet and bought more today.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you did.
And my friend Joy Smallwood went with me, and she did too. And I just was blown away by your recent collection.
Thank you.
We'll showcase some of it because it's amazing. Tell them what you did as far as painting on the canvas and everything.
Yeah, so I learned many years ago to use my creative outlet to deal with life, basically. Going through a lot, actually a breakup through this summer, and it's interesting because I design and make clothes, and it's I always think that it's kind of like building, but for years now I've had like this urge to like paint, like use my whole body and like paint, and there's nothing like a extreme emotional experience to give you the fuckets. Yeah. And so I got them good, and a really amazing album. I also, what I do as far as a collection normally comes from an album that I listen to over and over again. And the timing, like it's always sent to me by someone, like in the timing, and it all just kind of like jives. And then like I know, like, oh, okay, here's the collection, it's coming. So it's a female heavy metal band. And
I can
so,
see you listening.
I mean, like on it. And, yeah, it's that playing with your darkness, not trying to drive it out or make it not exist, but, I guess knowing that it's there and, getting in it and, having that safety of creativity for me to delve into it. So we hung this canvas on the wall, and I painted and splattered and had the music in my ears and had the biggest time with myself.
That's beautiful. I mean, honestly, it's edgy, it's fun, it's stunning, but there's some anger. I can see it.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to get it out. And I have to say, I remember when I first met you and just thought you had this amazing spirit, and you shared with me some of the stuff you've been through. I have to say that I think most people have gone through things in life and they try to hide it. And I actually just got back from Monaco and France, and it's interesting because you meet people that everything looks beautiful on the outside and perfect, right? But life isn't that way. And the editor of Forbes in Monaco is this amazing lady named Nancy. And she said to me when we sat down, it's interesting that she told me that it was interesting to meet me because I was just me instead of trying to be someone else. And that's what I have to say about you. I think it's so much more authentic to be you. And if you're angry, right? It's okay.
Right.
And if you're hurt, but to hide it and live in this box and try to be perfect all the time, I think is pretty miserable and not real.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think I've shared with you this before when so I'm in March, it'll be 9 years sober. And when I came home from rehab, I was really open about what I was going through because I was scared. Like I didn't want people to like come and bring a bottle of wine to work, because that's where I did the majority of my drinking. I was like, I'm sober, I'm in recovery. And the minute I would tell people about either depression, anxiety, being in recovery, any of it, you'd see them just like exhale, like, oh, I don't have to pretend around her. Like, she's being real, so I can be real.
Exactly, yeah.
And the gift that you can give someone else by being authentic is amazing. And like, you know, I think a lot of what we struggle with is this perceived perfection from society, you know, and if we all are authentic, then that's the gift, to just demolish it, you know, you know, which then goes into all the shame and guilt and all that.
But it's so true. You live your life. Like I have to say, we run a wellness company, you know, Root, and Clayton's the owner, and I did the formulas, and one of my focuses was really mental and emotional health, and helping people detox, not just physically, but get their body so the neurotransmitters worked and they could feel and think. But it's interesting because everyone always expects me to be healthy all the time. Everyone always expects, I have a cough drop in my mouth right now because I'm flying all over. And I've had, you know, cancer, I've had Lyme disease, I've been sick off and on most of my life, and I'm not perfect, and I always feel this overwhelming pressure, right, to be perfect, and or to not cry, or to not be mad, and it's just not real. And I remember when you shared that with me, and I felt that same way. Oh, great, this is someone I can be myself around, I can be me, she's going to accept me anyway, because she's not perfect either, right?
Train wreck is what I am.
No, you're not. No, and you're such a gift. My goodness, your clothes. I've never seen anyone that has the same type of clothing that you do. So there's not like I can go anywhere else in the world to find this type of clothing, but you can get it online now, correct?
Yes. We've worked really hard to try to make that a reality, and it's a business that's, it's interesting because we don't make 10,000 of something. So, you know, we're still.
I love that.
Yes,
because not everyone has it. Although Joy and I now have the same clothes. Joy, come here and say hi. Yes, it's in the middle of the podcast.
I love it. I love it.
Because you know what we're going to do, Nicole? We're going to. No, she can just. So we bought the same clothes today.
Yeah, basically.
So we'll take pictures and send them to you, Nicole.
Perfect. I'm turning my phone off.
And we can show how there are at least two people, but it's interesting. So she walked in with me, and I said this earlier when they were doing the pre-taping, and she was like, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Her clothes are so amazing because Joy is real. I mean, I have to say this. I have lots of different friends, and she's a real person. And I think anyone that is here to live life and experience life and not just be cookie cutter perfect, because none of us really are,
right?
Will love your clothes, and I want to share them with the world. But you know, it's funny. It reminds me a little bit of Copenhagen. Some of your designs, some of the designers I know in Copenhagen and Amsterdam, because there is this little edge to it.
Yeah.
Which is different for Seaside, because in Seaside everything's light blue or light green, and then you walk in the store and it's edgy. You know,
it's black.
It's cool. It's super neat.
Yeah. It's interesting with the black thing too, because so many people think. So I create the opposite of where I am. So like having a lot of black in the store means I'm actually pretty freaking happy.
Yeah.
So like when I'm like not okay, it's like gray to kind of balance, or like white, or like there was a lot of color this summer. Like I had a client call and say, what's going on? Like there's color. Are you okay? So
everybody I meet from here that knows you, like I told you I went to the store. What was the store next to yours again?
Oh, Anthea.
Yeah. She was so nice. I could just feel her energy. She's very amazing. Positive. But she went on and on about how much she loves you. And I remember when you were in Seaside, because now you're at the hub.
Yep.
But when you were in Seaside, everybody I would meet would just talk about how amazing you are.
Aww.
So yeah, you've left an impact on the whole community.
I try.
So what's the hardest thing about what you do? The reason I'm asking this is I always think life isn't easy, and I think it's really important for us to share not just the positive, which is one of the reasons you and I connected right away.
Yeah.
But I'd love for you to share like with other people, because I want this show to really help mentor young artists and old artists alone. You know, we're really targeting music, art, design, even interior design, food. What is your advice when things get hard? First of all, what is your hardest thing you've ever experienced as a designer? And then what is your advice to people, to others out there that want to do what you're doing? Because I don't know if you realize this, but you have opened a store, then grown, moved to other locations. You've experienced negativity, you've experienced hard times, but you've kept going, and you even have an online store right now.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing for me is to balance the business side with the creative side. It's like jumping from one side of your brain to another. The ADD that I have is very much a part of my creative side, so we don't get rid of that. So learning how to work with that and then work with others with that. God bless the team that is with me is amazing, and they're patient. And just yesterday we were, we have a lot of different projects going on, and I was on one yesterday, and okay, we need to do this, we need to do this, and I said something to Emily, and I said, you do realize this is one of those days that you don't listen to me? She was like, yeah, that's why I have my headphones out. So it's been I guess it's been the growth part, and there's always like, I expect a lot out of myself. Like I am hard on myself, which is why I have a business. Like that's the reason for it. Creatively, I expect to keep raising that bar for myself. And honestly, like if I don't, I will be miserable. Yeah. So trying to be able to simultaneously feed that artist and keep that as a flowing business, and then be a mom.
Yeah, because you're a mom of three.
Mom of three, yeah.
18, 15, and 4 or 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's hard.
It is. So it's, it's the balance. And I think, honestly, as an artist, that's what's hard, is to balance. And like when things get in balance, then life's kind of boring. And then the artist side of me is like, this sucks.
That's so true. Because artists don't like to be boring.
No. So it's interesting. I mean, honestly, like it flows into the whole mental health thing, because most artists have a life, a past. It creates the angst. And honestly, everything in my life right now is going really, really well. So there's not a lot of chaos, and so there's a part of me that's like, okay, what's about to happen now? You know, and so kind of like watching myself learn to be continually creative in those calmer, easier times is difficult, because I thrive on that passion. So.
Yeah, because when things are hard, you can create almost more than when you're peaceful.
Yeah, I chaos well, like really well. It's the aftermath that is hard. But, I guess that's it, is like, I can do really well at work if I dive into that crazy artist chaos thing. But to be a mom and to be a partner and be a friend, like I have to stick to that mental health, and I have to do better, and I have to learn how to heal and shift and change and all of that. So it's balance. Balance is hard. Yeah. It's just hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But ever since I've known you, you're continuously, which is another thing I love about you, you continuously are striving to be a better as a person. And I personally, again, for what it's worth, I think that we're all so imperfect. And as long as we're constantly trying to be better and trying to develop, because we're each these beautiful masterpieces. And I always say we're imperfect pieces to a perfect puzzle, right?
Yep.
But we're not perfect. So but for artists, there is this balance, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm kind of like you, when things are tough, I can almost produce more.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to say, this has come with age for me. I actually enjoy peace and meditation, and that's helped me get grounded. Do you do yoga and different things like that? That helps me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
If I can carve away that time, which I try to do in the morning and at night, it helps tremendously and can help me not crave that that constant, because the chaos makes you produce almost as an artist, like you said.
Totally.
But every time I see you, you're continuously going on this journey to be a better human being.
Yeah.
And it's raw, and it's amazing to be able to see and meet people that are like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
yeah,
rare.
and I think one of the things that I learned too is like, in a perfect world, I would meditate and do yoga every day, but that's not how it happens.
Yeah.
And like, so letting go of the perfectionism of healing and getting better and like living life like that, like I've had to let go of that too, you know, of like, okay, we're not there right now.
Every day's different.
Yeah.
And honestly, I that's why I don't get uptight, because, you know, when we're traveling, it's all over, and then I honestly, and I'm sure you know this, I miss my kids. I get very stressed. I miss my friends. I miss my family. I actually even miss the office, you know, when I'm never home. But I've learned that things are going to go wrong during the day. So I cannot get too uptight, or else I'll never enjoy life.
Right.
Like, I just won't ever be happy, and I can't live that way.
No.
Because I'm really hard on myself too. So it's like, if I have to stick to a schedule and I don't give myself any freedom to make a mistake, or to even be late, or to be not perfect, then it's miserable for me. And I think a lot of artists are like that, because we're not really in a box.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like, you produce, like you said, some of the most beautiful things when it's not perfect and there's a storm around you.
That's interesting that you said that, because we actually sat down as a whole team last week, like for a couple hours, and made this like schedule of the week of, we were going to do this day and this day, and of course, life being life, it completely fell apart this week. And I've been a wreck about it, and I'm like, see, this is why I don't freaking make schedules, because I'm upset about the fact that the schedule didn't happen. If we didn't have one, then I wouldn't be upset. You know, but like, some people need them.
Yeah.
So
I need them. I just have a hard time sticking to them.
Yeah, I instinctively want to rebel against them.
Me too.
Like,
what do you mean? I'm not 5 years old. I don't need to be there.
Yeah, like, you want me to what? Well, I don't want to. Why? Because you want me to.
Well, Joy said, Christina, we're going to be late. I go, I know, I'm so stressed. And then I go, but it's okay, because Nicole will probably be late too. She goes, what? I go, well, it's Nicole. I don't know. She'll be there on time.
Yeah. It's
And
Nicole, you don't have to worry about it.
And you've never told me that. I just instinctively know
Yeah.
that something may happen along the way.
Yeah.
But we had an excuse because we were at your store.
Yes.
And I couldn't get her to leave, and it really was her fault, because she was there longer than me.
I love it. And I actually...
It is true. Joy, who was there the longest? I had to drag her out of your store.
I love it.
She kept
I love
taking
it.
her clothes off and then putting them back on in the dressing room and finding something else and going back in.
I love
And
it.
I thought, just don't take your clothes off. And the lady that was there that was so
Chris.
sweet. Oh, Chris was so sweet. She was trying to like help us. I was getting uptight. I'm like, oh no, we have to get a gift from Michael Archie. But again, thankfully, I know your spirit and your heart. And I was like, well, Nicole, forgive me if I'm a little late. And plus, I got to use the excuse of your store and your clothes.
Always. And I actually got to
this.
Seaside early. I love that.
And look, I
enjoyed
put
just
on my baggy
hanging out.
pants and then my shoes. And this is what I love about your clothes. This is actually a dress I can wear.
Yeah.
And I can wear tights or shorts or nothing under it.
Yeah.
And I just put on baggy. And that's what I love about your stuff.
Yeah.
You can do anything. Because I
Casual
want
or
everyone
not.
to see your outfit. Can you stand?
This
This is all Nicole.
Yeah, so these are fun. Did you see this fabric? Like, it's so crazy.
I love
They're
that.
The tanks, but the outer thing, and this is a collection that I started working on right after the canvas thing, and this is with a photographer, Mark Little, and we actually, the whole collection is called Even in Death. And it's a really amazing thing of what we're doing. He took this image of this dead tree out in our forest here, and the birds were leaving the tree. He'd lost his mom in February, and he realized that even in death, it supports life.
Yeah.
And, you know, so he and I have worked together before, but we printed that piece of art on fabric, and so I've been making clothes out of it, and We moved
Skirts.
that
You have the beautiful
smaller space
skirts.
into a gallery, and
Yeah.
so we're having the opening of the gallery on Thursday.
Oh wow!
So, yeah,
we'll have
it's
to
exciting.
get pictures of it. I don't know if
Yeah.
because I don't understand cameras and everything. And Joy was supposed to be in charge, but she was busy over there. No, they may not have gotten your outfit, so we'll take pictures.
Okay.
So that people can go and buy it if they want it, because it really is pretty.
Cool.
Do you want to show yours?
My outfit? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have on the shoes everyone got in the office and baggy pants, and then this is actually a dress or a tunic.
Mhm.
You can do different things with the shoulders.
Yeah, and it's soft.
It's so soft.
So
I
soft.
also love. Joy bought like a bunch of your sweatshirts. I bought skirts, sweatshirt dresses. Like I said.
Those get embraced sweaters are like, just, yeah.
Oh, I wanted one
Everything.
of every one of
Yeah,
them.
like they're. It gets ridiculous because I get kind of so like creatively. I get like, come on, you're gonna make those sweaters again? But like every fabric
You
that
wear
I get,
those.
I wear them. Like I have like, God, the last time I counted, I had like 32.
I
of
told
them.
Joy I would have bought all of them if I.
Every snuggly fabric, I'm like, we need to make one of those sweaters. It's just like, yeah.
It's like
anyway.
this, but different
It's
colors
just-
and different.
And every year I'm like, oh, we should redo it. And I'm like, don't screw up what works. Like,
No.
just don't.
No.
So if I
Yeah.
still want to wear them, then I know other people will. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Every time I see them, I think of you because you wear those a lot.
Well, and that's so funny, you know, when you were talking about how like you feel this pressure to be like perfect and
Yeah.
healthy. I feel like everyone looks at what I have on
Oh,
all
yeah, I
the
bet.
time. And like I cannot tell you how badly I just want to run around in Lululemon. Like I
Because you-
enjoy
yeah.
wearing something that I did not make because
Yeah.
like I don't think about it on my body or oh like does it fit right or should I change this or like I just wear it and then I can be like a regular person. Not me. Sometimes I don't want to be me.
I understand that. I feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to kind of not.
Like eat Cheetos and
Yeah. Go to McDonald's, and I
Go
know
to-
it's horrible for me.
Taco
Taco Bell's my favorite.
Oh.
It's a bad situation. So I
They're
just,
open late too.
people don't even believe me. I'm like, okay, I eat healthy, and I'm not supposed to have gluten or milk. But guess what? I love Taco Bell. And honestly, yesterday with Merritt Ella, I was with Merritt Ella in Duquesne, and we were at the store, and there was a chocolate croissant, and I said, I can't have that. It's bread. But I said, but you know what? Sometimes it's just worth it. And Merritt goes, that's so true. Sometimes it's just worth it. I go,
it's
yeah.
worth it. Oh, I get it. Because I don't do gluten either, or sugar, and yeah, sometimes it's just worth it. Like you just have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to dress up. Sometimes you don't want to look pretty. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I feel because of the latest schedule that we have, I said that to Joy. I'm like, gosh, I just want to be home in my bed. And I told Stephanie that too. I think I tell everyone right now. I just want to be like hide a little bit.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've gone through that too, where I just don't. I either want to be around my family and friends, and I love everyone. You know, it's not.
Sure.
It's not that. It's just that I feel like people look at me, and I know it's got to be that way. Living in Seaside for you, everybody knows you.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
I've hid for years. Like I'm just kind of starting to come around again, because I couldn't. Like.
You couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Well, you know, after my mom passing, and you know, it was just like emotionally, I was just.
Yeah.
You know, when
You went through a lot.
yeah,
A
you
lot.
get to that point, and
Yeah.
it's. Are you an introvert?
So I am. So if, as a research scientist, most of us are introverts, but I have an extrovert part of me. I really have to have a balance. So, for example, if I'm being really honest right now, if I don't have alone time, I don't do well.
Yeah.
I can't have someone always beside me. I just can't do it.
No,
I mean,
I'm
I
the same way.
literally can't do it. I need to be by myself.
I'm the same way.
I get almost, I don't want to use the word depressed. I get anxious is a word I'll use when I don't have that time by myself to either paint, and I haven't painted in a long time. My son actually said you need to paint again, or write, or even do patents. You know, part of what I do on the science side, I tell people this all the time, it's not my education, it's the fact that I'm an artist, and I use different creative things to make things that will help people. I've been fortunate to be exposed to things, but it's really this creativity that helps me. So when you take that away from me, where I can be by myself, then I can't produce.
Right.
I just can't.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I'm the same way. I figured that you were. And I realized that once I can stock up on that alone time, then
Yeah.
I can do extra big more.
Exactly.
And I kind of felt bad about it for a while. Like, I felt bad telling the people that love me so much, like, I love you, but, like, I have to be alone. Like, I felt guilty about it. But getting that time, like, and coming out of that and realizing how much more me I have to give after that is, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
protect it now. Like, I don't answer the phone before 10 a.m.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Like, I have my little routine, and I try to keep the phone away until at least 10. Because that's when my ADD blows apart anyway, and
Yeah.
I'm not focused anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now we'll start the day.
And what time do you go to bed usually?
I'd like to be asleep by 10:30.
So that's me too.
The reality is a lot of times midnight.
Yeah.
I can exist on 6 hours of sleep,
Mm-hmm.
but if I could get 8, that would be a beautiful thing. And we get there. I mean, I'm 42, so, like, there's also, like, points where my body's like, we're not young anymore, so, like, you need to go to sleep. So my body will shut down on me.
I've been sleeping about 3 to 4 hours because of travel, and that's another thing for me. I can do that for a while, but then I hit a wall where I'm like, I just can't do it. And I think people have got to have at least 6 hours. You need 8. You know that. I know you know that.
Yeah.
But I think having children prepared me to be able, if I have to do it for a while, because you know how when you have kids, you're breastfeeding, I never
just do
slept
it.
when I had little kids
No.
at all.
No.
And so I was never the kind of mother that could let them cry
No.
or put them down. I slept with them in my bed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just couldn't let them go.
Yeah.
So I think that helps me with my career if I have to push through it. Because, you know, when you have a deadline, you have no option.
Yeah. Yeah. I purposely will do stupid deadlines to push creativity out
that
too.
Yeah.
Like, the best dresses I make is when I have, like, 2 hours to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the chaos. So you just created it, but it had a successful ending.
Yeah, and I know, like, the last 2 things that I've needed to make really amazing dresses with, I've blocked it out that, like, I have that morning to do it, and it's due at 10 a.m. and you'd better just do it, and it happens, and so.
Do you custom? Do you ever do custom dresses?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
We
I
need
do
to
a
do
lot
that,
of.
Stephanie. We need to do some custom. Yeah.
I know when.
Next time I come, maybe we can work on that, because that's one of the things. I don't really want to wear anything when I go to these events that everyone else is wearing. We've got 2 events in December, the Forbes Netherlands event, and then the Forbes Women of Empowerment event in Monaco in December.
I would love to make you something for those. Like,
I'd love for you to come to one of those at some point. I just talked to them about bringing in different people, because it's really neat to combine artists and entrepreneurs from all over, and it's so great. One of my favorite things to do in life is to connect good people. You know, it's funny. I relax. I'll eat in my room sometimes. That's the only time I can sometimes relax. But if I'm ever out and I eat this amazing food, or I see this art, or see these clothes, I want to show my best friends. Like, I want to show everyone, because I don't enjoy it unless everyone's connected. And I've learned the older I've gotten, that makes me happy, to connect everyone. Otherwise, I'm just experiencing it by myself.
Right.
And that's kind of lonely to me. And I even though I'm an introvert, I still want to give and share. I just love that. You know, I really do. And I've met some really interesting people all over the world, but I keep going back to being grounded with the people I knew before we did all of this with what we're doing right now. And I kind of want to combine both worlds if I can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you said that. I kind of had a big epiphany as you were talking. You know, it's this last year of growth has been a lot for me in shifting from primarily being in my artistic mind to being in the business side and managing people, of which I don't like, and I don't think that I'm good at it. Like, it is not my highest good. You know, so a lot of times, you know, when things struggle, I'm just like, oh, I'll just go back to just me and the store and the sewing machine and the cutting table, you know, and I constantly am, like, checking myself, like, okay, why do we want to grow? Like, it's not ego. Like, I don't need to see my name in lights.
No.
Like, I know that about myself. But it's that creating an environment for connection to happen and for that inspiration to happen, to be able to use your creativity to earn a living. And like, because a lot of people don't get to do that, so to open that up and have those spaces for that to happen is really important. And I think maybe that's my underlying driving force of continuing to want to make things bigger or create with a collaborative or, those kind of things. Like, it's not about
being famous, because famous doesn't make you happy.
No.
It's
no desire.
No. I think that's probably been one of the hardest things about what we've done, because I never was even on social media. I still don't do my social media, but it's a paradigm, because when I was a scientist, I couldn't even be on it, right? And that was probably one of my happiest times, was being a scientist, even with pharma. Like, people are always like, oh, Christina, you're not a pharmaceutical biotech person. I actually loved it. I loved working at universities. I loved teaching. But we had this desire. I had a desire to help people with health and wellness. And when all this stuff happened with all this mess that's happened, it definitely changed my life unexpectedly. We grew so fast. And then I started realizing how people all over the world really didn't understand what made them better. Like, people didn't know that there's heavy metal in the environment. There's heavy metals in your body. They cause people to be mentally ill, right? They cause addiction. They cause obesity. And even though the World Health Organization and all of your government knows, no one does anything about it, and your general population doesn't. So going back to you, that was an epiphany for me. It's changed my life, and I can't say that it's always been fun the last 2 to 3 years. But I'll say this: there is a need worldwide to bring good people, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's health, whether it's wellness, just to share this light and this goodness. Because you and I talked about darkness. Like, we all have darkness, but it's whether you're trying to be a dark person and hurt people, or whether you're really trying to be a good person and do the right thing and bring goodness into the world, and kindness into the world. And I've met a lot of musicians. I've met a lot of artists, a lot of fashion designers that don't have your heart, that are not on this mission for others. And you're needed, right? It's needed to have good people.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's easy the more you grow. I think it's harder. If you would ask me what's the hardest thing, I would have said the same thing: the growth and having to manage it, especially for an introvert, to have to feel responsible for so many people.
That's it.
That's it. It's the responsibility, right? I get overwhelmed with that, to be honest.
Totally.
And I get, again, almost depressed, because I can't make everyone happy. I'm always feeling like I disappoint people. I don't think I'm good at managing either. It's the same thing for me. That's how I really feel. And then I can't really talk about it, right? Because if I talk about it, I don't know. It's
right.
I'm not leading.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because like, if you start to work with me, like, you become one of my kids. Like, like, you're that a part of, like, you're that important. Like,
I'm the same way.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the same way I would take care of my kids is, so I get it. Yeah. And, and it's interesting that, I really do feel like we're at a point in time where it's really important for the people that bring the light to show up and stand up.
I agree.
And there, the darkness that feeds creativity and all of that, I think anything, you have to have the light to understand the dark, and you have to have the darkness to understand the light. And that's just like the law of nature's, like, that's the law of the universe. But the intention is where it changes.
It is.
And
if your intentions are to do bad things to this world, it's not a good thing.
Right. So yeah, we're definitely in that point where I think the light has to stand up and all of that. So.
Well, I want to thank you for being on this, and I'm going to have you back. And then we wanted to collab with them. You did the mask for Root.
Oh yeah.
And they wore them. Clayton wore it all over the world, just so you know.
I love it.
the
mask that had the big
Do you know
holes.
how many times he got in trouble? for wearing those on a plane, and they were like, "That's not a mask because it was your mesh."
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "It is. It's a double mask." But our intention was to collab with you in some way, and we still want to.
Yeah,
both
definitely.
of us always talk about it, just because of well, not just because of your heart, but because we love how you do everything.
Yeah.
You need to do some male clothes.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to launch something with Root if you don't do
Boys
clothes for
stuff?
men? Yeah.
I do boy stuff.
You do.
Yeah, we did a whole collection last fall. Actually, it did really well, yeah, I mean, it did really well. The space that we've created, the gallery, was where we had the men's stuff, and it really, for a retail space, it was just a little bit too small. And in the face of trying to kind of get everything online, I had to eliminate something.
Yeah.
Because I was spread too thin.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do men's again once I feel like the online store is in a place where it's like really just an autopilot. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Oh God.
So this is the lip plumper. We haven't launched it yet. It's called Lip Performance. It's actually, you know how a lot of the lip plumpers make you feel tingly. You'll feel this, but there's no silicone. There's nothing that's artificial.
Cool.
It's really meant so you don't get wrinkles around your mouth.
Oh, that's good.
Because I use a natural. I used to work in skincare as a on the research science side. So I really wanted to do something that you don't have to have Botox. It does give a plumping effect. It also makes your natural color look brighter.
Oh, cool.
But it will, if you put it around the lips, you won't see any wrinkles. Not that you have any, but it gets rid of this.
Well, they're coming.
And then
Everything's changing. Like all of a sudden in this last year, I'm like, the skin's different. Oh, this is.
Oh, me too, especially traveling. My skin,
Changed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the tea face mist is a detox. It detoxes the skin, helps with the collagen, helps plump. You can spray it on under, it'll tighten your pores or over your makeup.
Okay.
And then the Clean Spirits, you needed another bottle. But this
Yes.
really is the formula that we have 7 products now, I think. What do we have, Duquesne? Stuff? 7. We're launching a coffee called Rahm Roast. Do you drink coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I detox the beans so that it doesn't have fungus and mold and different things because the coffee has it in there. It tastes amazing. If we have any, I'll give you some. I'll check with Clay. And then the
awesome.
Clean Slate, though, is 5-to-1. We sell more all over the world because of the patents ended up getting approved. Some of the patents I did that reversed aging and get rid of nuclear waste and stuff like that. And even though I changed the formula a little bit because I wanted to make it better, we got a lot of recognition for that. And then helping people get rid again of the heavy metals with whether people have been when they were kids or recently, some of that stuff's not perfect afterwards, in the body,
Right.
even though it can help, and I understand the reason for it.
Yeah.
Our goal was to really make people healthier and to support their bodies because autoimmune disorders really aren't necessary. They've grown more and more and more because of our world. And it was interesting when one last thing, when I've been traveling, these major presidents, prime ministers, and leaders know about it. It's just that no one's really done a lot about it.
Right.
And so I'm hoping environmentally, and I'm hoping we can help our world because it's not sustainable to do what we've done now. But I wanted to start with people first.
Right.
Because the next step is going to be a much larger step, which is one of the reasons I've traveled a lot to the Middle East. So,
Awesome.
Anyway,
Awesome.
but I'm thankful for you, and I really do want to do this clothing something.
Yes,
Clayton
yes,
keeps
yes.
asking me, and we just COVID hit. Then your mother, you had a lot going on,
Yeah.
and
We've all been dancing.
and we took some time to grow, but we're there now. So
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
thank
Let's do
you.
it.
Okay.